Okay, so now let's start from that part from where we left in the last session. Right, again we are discussing this first economic introduction part. The basics aspects of economics need to be understood here. Right, and in the last session we have already understand the definition how the economics has to study the those resources which are less in quantity, and then how the distribution can be made. The certain principles have to be used to make a proper distribution of those resources which are less in number or scarcity is there. We have already understand those things on that particular day. So that's why we have included this forest also here by explaining this scarcity, because um, this forest we have a very limited amount of everything here. So since the forest the in number is very less, and then now the use, you can say that they have a multiple use of the forest resources we have. So how the things has to be properly allocated among the different aspect of demand through this forest resource, that we will also try to understand in that particular session. Then some technical definition we have discussed as production, distribution, consumption of forest product, and then we have already understand this definition that is given by Gregory, and we have already explained this, right? Okay, how from economic point how we have to look the forestry. So here we have already stopped this value to society. So I'll start from here itself, right? Value to the society. So here what we need to understand here is that okay, whenever we are assuming the viewpoint of society, right, as a whole, so we must have some unbiased approach to understand this economic value. That is very important, right? Because we need to understand the whatever with the services we are getting from the forest, we are supposed to benefit the whole society, whether that resource has priced or not. These things we need to understand. The resource may have certain price, the resource may not have certain market value, certain price. For example, timber has a market price, but whatever the carbon storage facility that you are getting from the forest, is there any market price for that? Or the oxygen that you are getting from the forest, is there any market price for that? So that's why whenever we're discussing on the whole um, aspect at the viewpoint of society, right, we must take unbiased account of all this full range of social benefits that we are getting from the forest, whether the services are priced or not, right? So on that aspect, you just look at here, this is the first economic value we need to understand. So there is total value of forest has been divided into two part, is the extractive value, and the second is non-extractive value, as you look at in the slide itself, right? So we can make these two main categories whenever we are discussing the value of forest. These two main categories need to understand. One is extractive or second is non-extractive. So what do you mean by extractive value? That we need to understand. So extractive value means basically those value which involve you are just physically harvesting, right? Physically you are harvesting the resource from the forest, or you are also removing the resource and you are using outside the forest. Have you get that? These two things have to understand is extractive value. First, you are able to harvest it physically, and second, you are removing the resource from the forest and you are using outside the forest. So you people already know the example. Example may be timber, example may be fuel wood, then some other minor forest product, or you can say that as you know NTFP, NWFP, then herbs, resins you are getting from there. So these are extractive value, right? So that's the two things as written, the timber value and non-timber value. So one clearly you are getting the wood from the tree itself, and apart from that everything is non-timber value. It is an NTFP, yes, non-timber forest produce that you are getting, that is including shrubs, herbs, and some other kind of minor forest product that you are getting, fruit, nuts, fuel, fodder. All these things are getting from the forest itself, and everything in a very physical form. So that's why it is extractive value. Now if you talk about this non-extractive value, so non-extractive value include, as you look in the slide itself, that is ecosystem services, right? Just look at the ecosystem services. It means apart from this these things, what the other things that you are getting, which is not in a physical form. It means you are unable to touch those things, you are unable to see those things. That is ecosystem services, right? For example, soil and water protection system you are getting from the forest, then climate modulation that you are getting from the forest, right? So these are uh, non-extractive value, right? Because that not involve any kind of harvesting through the physical method, right? So that is one is called ecosystem services. Second non-extractive value is preservation value. Preservation value means what? If if the forest is there in a present state, right? So how a people has to value that thing? It means we are preserving the forest. Forest is as it is, whatever the place is. For example, if we have a small piece of land, the forest is there, and how the people value, uh, how the people value, or people putting certain kind of price on preserving those forests, right? That is preservation value. Again, I explain preservation value means as an individual, as a whole society, right? How much society is willing to pay to preserve the forest in its existing form. Forest is there, now we have to preserve. So how much value has to be paid by the society, or willing to pay by the society itself? That is preservation value, right? People are saying, in reality people are not paying, right? People are not paying the price, but people have the intention. Okay, if forest is there, and for preservation any price you are able to pay, or you are willing to pay there. Right? So that is non-extractive value. So whenever you discuss this whole forest economic value, these two things you need to understand: extractive, non-extractive. In some books or some notes you are getting the tangible benefits or non-tangible, the same thing there. Extractive is tangible and non-extractive is non-tangible, and the rest will be same, right? So this is the total value of forest we need to understand on the viewpoint of economics. I hope you get that. Is there any question from this? If you understand this, then I'll add something more. Any question from this? Okay, then if you understand, it's good. But if any question will be there, I'd like to explain. So now you will understand it. So let me add something with this preservation value. Though I have not mentioned in the slide, but if people just listen and try to understand carefully, even you can note it down somewhere, right? So there are basically three type of preservation value, three type of preservation values, right? One is called existence value, second is called option value, third is bequest. Listen carefully. There are three type of preservation values that one need to understand here: existence, then option, and bequest. Existence, option, and bequest. So let me make you understand what these three kind of preservation values. First, existence value. So try to understand what is existence. Existence, right? Simple existence. I am writing in the message box. Existence. Existence value. So first we need to understand this existence value. What is it? Existence, right? So now you need to understand. So basically, existence value is that value where people, right? People place on the preserving forest, basically, right? To get the continued benefit for future generation. Listen carefully. Again, I'm explaining what is existence value. Basically, it is the value that people has to place on preserving forest. And how the preservation? It means from the human disturbance. You are preserving the forest from human disturbance, right? For getting the continued benefit for future generation also, right? So that is called existence value. As I told you, existence means the forest is as it is, right? And now whole society is preserving that forest for any kind of human interference or human disturbance. And why we are doing that? So that you are able to draw the continued benefit, right, for the current time also and for the future time also. So how much value we are, as an individual or as a society, are willing to pay for getting that continuous benefit, that is existence value, right? And now the second thing I have told you, that option value, option, OPTI, option value, right? So what is option value, right? So as the term suggests, option, it means you have a choice, right? You have a choice, right? And then on the basis of choice, you can put the value. It means if the forest is there, so either you can leave the forest as it is, or you have to harvest it. So whatever is the activity you are doing, say in which activity you are getting more value, either through the preservation or through the harvesting. That is option value. Is it clear? Right? And then the last is bequest. Bequest value, basically it means that if we are preserving forest in the present form for the future generation. Listen carefully. If you are preserving the forest in their present form for the future generation, right? So how much value we can drive by doing this activity, or what is the value for conducting all this activity? That is also called bequest value. So this preservation value has three kind. Again I'm explaining: existence, option, and bequest. So if you have any question, you can ask. If you are unable to understand all these three preservation value: existence, option, and bequest. So is there any question? If something you are unable to understand, you are free to ask. And be specific. While asking the question, be specific. That I told you several times. Then things will be simple for me to explain you. Okay, bequest. Oh, sir, first and third. Yes, yes, yes. You were right, Pura. So the boundary between all these categories are basically not clear, and sometimes it is also overlap. Right. So it is, yes, similar. You can say it's similar. It's not same, but it is similar. Have you get that? So third one, you provide bequest value. So first you need to understand the meaning of bequest. I hope you know the meaning of bequest is that you are leaving something for other people on your own will, right? No one going to force you. No one supposed to making any rule. Because of your own will, you are leaving something for other people. That is means bequest. Have you get the meaning now? Now you can easily understand the bequest value. Bequest value means we have a forest in a present time. We can use it, but we are leaving the forest as per our own will, so that our future generation can be benefited or will be benefited. So when you are deriving the value from this bequesting exercise or bequesting practice, that is called bequest value. Is it clear now? So we have a existence, right? Existence means forest is there and you are preserving the forest from any human disturbances to draw the continued benefit. First thing that then you have an option, you have a choice, right? You can leave the forest as it is or you can harvest, and on the basis of that you are drawing the value. And finally we have this bequest. Is it means at our own will we are leaving the forest in the present condition so that our future generation will get benefit from that, and we are driving the value from all these kind of activities, that is preservation value. Now I hope you all get that. Is there any question again? If any question you can ask. Now move to this after understanding this. Now the question arises, after understanding the basics, why do we need this subject as a separate subject? Right? You have already studied economics in detail in your third semester. Right? Now why where this forest economics has been there? What the reason for that? So because the forest has certain important characteristics, certain peculiar characteristics that we need to understand, and because of that we can able to distinguish this forest with the remaining economy. See, economy contains every aspect of your life, right? But we are just picking one aspect, forest, because forest is certain peculiar, or you can say that important characteristics separate from some other aspect of economics. So let me explain you that and then you can understand that. So these are the important characteristics of forest. First, we introduce the prolonged gestation period. Gestation means you can say the maturity. That is prolonged gestation period. For example, if any species, any good timber species, suppose you have to start from here. You just take the example of teak. You take the example of sal. You take any other good variety of forest tree species, right? So what is the maturity time, or the time at which you are able to harvest it so that you can use it properly? It may be 30 years, 40 years, sometimes 60, 70 years, right? It means today you're supposed to sow the seed and then your grandchildren are supposed to enjoy the benefit of that particular species, isn't it? So it has very prolonged gestation period. Where other aspect of economic gestation is not so prolonged. For example, you have set up a factory, right? How much time it will take? You have a capital, you will invest it, right? Within a 1 year, within a 6 month, even you can start your business, right? And but here in forest practice, it is very difficult to do. Even if you are practicing some fast growing space, for example, eucalyptus, you are taking poplar, still you have to do 3 to 5 years. And we get that. So that's why this has a prolonged gestation period, right? Gestation basically means completion. It means so if you're starting any project from today and when your project becomes completed so that you can get or you are drawing benefit from that, that is called gestation. So forest has a prolonged gestation period, right? Now next is both capital plant and finished product. That is very important, and as a forest student you should understand this. And several times in the class I have explained to you both capital plant and finished product. It means what? It means tree is producer and product itself. Listen carefully and try to understand. Tree is producer. Producer means who is producer? Producer has to invest. What is capital has to invest, right? So tree is producer. That's why capital plant. And see, and it will become a product itself after few years. This is the important characteristics of forest, both capital plant and finished product. And apart from that, if you talk about some other aspect of economics, right? Capital is different, product is different. Suppose again, you have set up a factory of, I'm talking about, for example, you have to get mobile, right? Capital is different, product will be different. But here both producer and product is same, right? You are not supposed to invest something other on the plant has to produce itself, and when this get matured you'll get a finished product, right? So that is very important that one need to understand, and because of that we need to study the forest economics as a separate subject. Now second is many, the third is many forest products is not measured directly by existing market. As I've explained to you in the last slide, we have a non-extractive value, right? Carbon storage capacity of a tree. So whole forest has the ability to store more and more carbon dioxide from the environment. Isn't it? Do you have any machine for that? Or you are able to set that capacity somewhere? We don't have. Right? Soil conservation. Regulation of water supply. You are getting from the forest. Is there any market for that? For that regulation? That soil preservation, soil conservation. Is there any market value for that? You are getting oxygen supply from the forest. Is there any market value for that? There is no market value. So most of the product, the very important we are talking about, we can survive without the timber. We can't survive without the uh, oxygen, isn't it? But that services that you are getting from forest has no market value. Is it clear? Then another important thing, industry is tied to the nature. Obviously, it is tied to the nature. It means very less control of human on all these activities. Nature has its own course of action. You can't stop the wind pressure. You can't stop the sunlight. Right? You don't have that mechanism. So most of the industry related to the forest totally depend upon how the nature has to behave, isn't it? As I told you, if I'm doing any plantation practice where raising the forest and something like that, totally depend upon the nature. Very few things you can control. You can do tending operations. We can control thinning. We may have certain kind of herbicide. We can weedicide, but we can't control everything. It's totally depend upon the external environmental condition, right? And then wood is a material which grows on the existing trees, obviously, as I explained to you here, capital and finished product. And this is another important thing, produce indirect benefit too, as I already explained you. So these are important and very much important characteristics of the forest, and because of that, we need to understand that, or we have just this another subject, that is forest economics. So is there any question from all this point? I hope people understand that. So any question? Okay, so let's move. Now first economic discussion we are making there. So there is three important aspects, that means policy decision making, multifunctional role, and public good valuation, right? So whatever be the things that we have already discussed here, right? That has all these three aspects that one need to understand here. As you look there, the policy decision making. It means what? It means the concept that we have to learn through the first economics, or the first economics, the theory or the practice that is being provided with the first economics concept, that is going to provide the essential information, right? And because of that is essential information, some decision making related to the forest policy can be made, right? At both, either it's a lower level you can say that, or the higher level. So whatever the essential information we are getting from the forest economics, that is going to help the forest policy decision making at both lower and higher level. Then multifunctional role, as I told you several times, that forest, the resource that we have, has a multiple use, isn't it? A simple forest we have, we can draw lots of benefit from there. We can get and two important role I have explained to you, extractive and non-extractive value, right? So these things also we are getting from this discussion on the forest economics, right? It means multifunctional role of forest. So what this means, multifunctional means that forest is not delivering the economic benefits to the society, but also environmental, social, and cultural benefits. That is multifunctional. Again, I'm explaining you what the multifunctional means here. That forest is not delivering only the economic benefits that we have already discussed, but also environmental, social, and cultural benefits. And most of the people, if you are already aware of these things, isn't it? How the cultural benefits are there. If you go for the northeast area, tribal people has life depend upon the forest. So there's lots of cultural advantage. Even in the north, south, everywhere, people are worshipping the tree for 1 or 2, and they have some rituals, right? In all the society in India, with 1 or 2 kind, and people have a cultural, social. We also know that we environmental. We have already explained. We have already know, and we have already understand that, right? Now, this another discussion or the understanding that we have the public good valuation. Public good, right? Public good means what? It means everyone have a equal share of those goods. This one is private good. Private good we have to pay. Private good is a reservation. Will get, will not get. But public good is there. Public good, it means those goods are all in human without even paying and getting the equal benefit. For example, biodiversity conservation is there. Then you have a water quality protection, recreation is to, right. Every time you are visiting any forest area, are you paying something? Nothing, but you are enjoying the for the landscape values there. So the so putting a monetary value is obviously provided the clear picture of economic distribution. That is very important. So through this first economics, as your syllabus is not so vast, but I'll try to explain you how you can put economic value, or you can say that monetary value. Generally, I'm talking about it means how you price. For example, water supply you're getting from the forest, and that is public good because everyone enjoying. If a spring is there from the forest, so those people residing in the hilly area, they are getting water from there without paying a single penny, isn't it? So through this first economics, we'll try to put a monetary value on these public goods, and what the advantage you get if you are able to put these monetary values, that will provide you the clear picture of economic contribution that forest is going to provide to the society. Have you get that? So these things that we need to uh, understand this forest economics. So now if you have any question, you can ask, right? And then I like to discuss this difference between traditional economics and forest economics. As I told you why you are studying forest economics as a separate discipline. So this difference will make you the things clear, right? Traditional and forest difference is very simple, right? Traditional economies include everything. It means in this economy the forest is not getting emphasis. Forest is just a small part of that, not get proper emphasis on the forest part. But here economy, forest economics, the whole integration, whole kind of concept, or whole concentration on this forest part itself. And this traditional economics only discuss with the private goods. It means the goods that has the market, right? Or the things that are able to, you are able to sold in a market. But this first economy is both private and public good. Here does not take into account externalities. I hope most of you understand the term externalities, but let me explain you again. Externalities means the price you are paying for those activities that you are not doing. There's a simple meaning, a very common layman meaning of externality. It means, let me give you a very simple example. If your friend is smoking and you are just standing behind him, you are also going to suffer because of passive smoking. You are standing there, you are not a smoker, but still you are suffering. That is called externalities, right? If there is some factory nearby your village, right? So if the factory has released a certain kind of residual or certain kind of fumes they are supposed to make a residual, then since the society or the village is not involving gets in that, but still the villagers or the society will get suffered. That is called externalities. Have you get that? So through the traditional economics, they are not taking account this externalities, but in forest economics we are taking account this externalities also there, right? Then time related decision do not receive much attention here, and here time related decision is required. Why? As I've shown you the some previous slide, because there is a long gestation period. So we have to take certain decisions so that you are able to get the benefit. Right? In traditional economy, the things will be short term. The short term, you are not supposed to think about the time. But in forest, the thing is take so much time to get harvesting or get matured. So time related decision should be there. And here, limited capacity of forest is not considered. Limited the forest is explicitly considered. Right? It means in this traditional economics, forest as a resource has no limitation, right? But in the forest economics, and we all know that forest as a resource has lots of limitation there. So this is the difference between traditional economics and forest economics, and because of that this new discipline has been introduced to understand. Is it clear? So this is all about for the introduction part of forest economics. uh, Now, if you have any question, you can ask.